Hi guys, so today I chose 15 things that make you look tired from my viewpoint. Thing number one is Bordeaux eyeshadow, especially if it's matte. I have something like that, this color. Maybe dark brown with very reddish undertone. So it's not for everyone. It is making really tired skin effect on many women. It can be also pretty aging. The only thing how you can use this eyeshadow is if you make everything else look flawless and you're going out and in the evening you're making a good layer of foundation. So everything here is very clean. And then some lifting effects with some highlighters just to make your face tighter and brighter at the same time, and then good hair, good clothes. So I think in this case that eyeshadow can really work beautifully, especially for the evening. For the daytime, and if you're making just a thin layer of foundation or you're preparing something like a very natural look, so I think that that can make the skin look very dry, and that reddishness just adds that slight illness to the eyes sometimes, especially if you have redness, if you have tendency for redness. Number two, light eyeshadow all over on your top lid, especially up to the brows. Very empty eye area, but also what it can do, it can really puff your skin around the eyes, especially on the top lid. And especially for people who have hooded eyes, that can also create that heavy skin, heavy top lid effect. It can make you look sleepy and tired and make that skin look very heavy. So something that we try to avoid, right? So in the morning, I know some people, they're doing that ice cubes on the lids, so just to make the skin look tighter. So I don't recommend doing this thing, and especially if you're choosing a frosty effect eyeshadow, something light blue or closer to white, and something very, very shimmery. Shimmery is gonna reflect light even more, and it's gonna make the whole skin look puffy. Number three is too low beginning of the brow. And I've seen so many women, especially women of older age, are doing this. Probably those muscles are just slightly going down with age, and then they're starting that brow very low here, and especially very far and low, which also a big no-no if you want to create that correct effect, because it just, that whole place looks bold if you're starting your brows further from each other, further than it should be. And also it widens your nose very much. So some women, they think that on contrary, they will open their face with that. They will make that area look not that droopy, and those wrinkles look not as dark and as heavy, but the effect is different. So when they start their brows further from each other, then this whole place, yeah, it opens up this place a little bit, but it doesn't make the wrinkles look smaller, and it just makes the whole face look slightly bolder. And when you don't have brows, or you don't have half of brows, it doesn't open your eyes too much. It widens the nose and widens just this area. How to correct that? First of all, choose slightly lighter shade of a brow product, unless you already use it pretty light for your skin, for your tone, of course. And then you start your brow slightly, so you're adding some hair here on top of the beginning of the brow, on top here. You're just lifting the beginning of the brow slightly higher. And then what you do, you're adding some things a little bit closer to the wrinkle area. This way, it will lift your eyes up, it will lift your brows up, but at the same time, it's not gonna make this place droopy, and then it will shrink your nose a little bit. Your nose will look slightly narrower here. Just check that line by your nose, and then the beginning of the eye is just very, very old-fashioned, but it still works, you know? Just this is where your brow starts, and that's it. So that's enough. That trick is enough, because this is when your face will get this harmony. Just make sure that you don't start your brows with very solid, like a marker-like beginning, with very sharp and solid. No, it should be blended. It should kind of start with gradient, with nothing to something, to the darkest point. So the darkest of your brow should be right here in the middle, and then it should go to nothing on the other side. Now, number four, which is also connected to this number three, is too low tail of a brow. Sometimes I can see women when they make their brows, they plug the brows a lot here, but then they forget that the tail also is longer than. So they also have to slightly lift the tail up. Because if the brows are bushy, that means they are thick. And if they're thick, then the tail of the brow is also going to be thick, and it's going to go very long. It's also long. It's thick and long. It's pretty rare when somebody has just thick brow, but it's pretty short naturally. No, if it's hairy, it's hairy. So hair goes down there. And many women just overpluck it here, and then they leave that tail that just goes down. So to make it work, you pluck more hair from the tail, and you keep an eye on what is the shape of your brow and how is it placed on your face. You just look at the beginning of the brow and on the tail of the brow. If the tail is lower than the beginning, then your eyes will look droopier, more tired, and more kind of sad. But then if the beginning of the brow is heavier and the tails are too high, it will look like that. It will look heavy, and face will look also tired and frumpy and pretty angry. And it's very aging. So you gotta just see where's your brow starts and where's the tail stops. And ideally, if the tail is a couple of millimeters higher than the level of the beginning of the brow, just slightly higher. This way your brows will still be pretty high, your eyes will be still pretty open, but it's not going to create that frumpiness it's not going to create that angry feeling, a heavy feeling on the eyes. And also it's going to slightly lift the face. It's going to create that lifting effect for your face. Number 5 is dewy foundation on puffy, swollen, and not tight facial structures. So women who have a lot of flesh in their body, who have a lot of puffiness and swollenness in their faces, and that are not tight, not muscular faces, not sharp, not taut. You know, some faces are very sharp and tight with the skin tight on them, which has nothing to do with overweight or age. It actually is just, it can, like a young girl who's very thin can have this kind of a structure of a face. That's normal. It's just how some people are built. So dewy foundation can make the skin look sweaty slightly and make it look very tired and accentuate all the unwanted shadows on the face, especially when there's like puffiness here, some shadows here, and some shadows down here by the lips, by the eyes. If no bones are basically shaped with the skin, when there's a lot of puffiness, but there's also can be different puffiness. There can be round faces, but they're very, very tight. So you basically can see that flesh, but it looks firm, you know, that is a different thing. So women like that probably don't have those downward lines, and when the eyes and the brows are slightly lifted and the lips probably are lifted and then no double chin, that line is pretty tight. So for them, it's gonna be good. That dewy foundation effect was gonna look amazing. And for women with that swollen kind of a roundness, for them, I would recommend to choose something more matte, or just use a good translucent loose powder, especially in the middle part of the face. On the outer parts of the face, that's going to be looking fine. But then in the center, it's good slightly more matte. This way they will not look tired. They, on contrary, will look more healthy. Number 6 is dark Bordeaux color in outfits and in accessories like hat and scarf, something close to the face. It's very similar to Bordeaux color on the eyeshadow, just because Bordeaux color itself, it's pretty heavy color, not fresh looking. If you already feel like you look slightly tired, then it can accentuate that and it can add some age. It's just in some outfits, for some women it looks amazing, then something else in their look is brought to a point when they can carry that kind of a Bordeaux color. So the skin should look pretty fresh, for some women maybe dewy, some kind of makeup, some kind of a tightness and healthiness and glow should present in there. So you should really balance, if you have that color a lot in your outfit. You should really balance it with everything else, pretty healthy, tight, and maybe some makeup, some freshness. Just look around and see what can exaggerate that tiredness, maybe on your face. Maybe you can add some concealer on the outer corners of your eyes so it would not look droopy and tired here. Not heavy colored makeup. Number 7 is similar to this one, is velvet fabric in deep colors. In deep colors, dark blue, dark Bordeaux, dark red color, dark green. That velvet, it still looks pretty old-fashioned and adding that heaviness to the whole look and to the body sometimes. There can be probably some modern shapes that are made in this kind of a velvet, and then you can maybe combine that velvet thing with something absolutely on contrary. Then I think it might look slightly different, but you just keep in mind that sometimes can make you look more tired and more dated, like more old-fashioned. Even if you're a young girl, if you're a young girl or you look young, then for you it will be probably even more like you're trying your mama's clothes. Number 8 is face overwhelmed with color. It is always aging. Almost everyone, unless it's like an evening makeup or a makeup for photo session or makeup for going out or a party, that's a different thing. If you have not natural light, the whole makeup looks slightly different, and especially it depends on the clothes you're wearing. Clothes can also be different, but if the clothes is more or less everyday-ish or casual, or even sports clothes, sometimes I can see women doing that. Then can really make you look tired. I probably will teach you in one of my next videos how to make that kind of makeup that would still not be overdone, but it will eliminate that morning puffiness and will make you look more awake and not as tired, but still will not overload you with colors. Number 9 is probably everyone talks about it. It's a droopiness of the eyes that is caused by incorrect placement of an eyeliner. And there are loads of tutorials on how to do an eyeliner for the eyes, but I know there's like different eyes. And there are different eye shapes because that line of the eye, the top line, is different. Everybody has a different top lash line of their eyes. Sometimes it's higher here, but then it goes down here on the sides, like Marilyn had. Sometimes highest point is just on top of the iris, so it's like very rounded. Sometimes it's just going upwards slightly. So all those top lines are slightly different, and some women, when they're making that eyeliner, they just make it too droopy. I have this video. This eyeliner trick will change your face. I'm gonna leave the link down below so you can check that, and you can try this trick because that might change the placement of your eyeliner, and that will make your face look opposite to tired. Number 10 is eyeshadows placed on the outer corners of the eyes. You know, it's a very old-fashioned makeup techniques that I think started sometime in the 80s when they started having a lot of different kinds of different colors of eyeshadows. And as far as you want to try them all, you want to try green and purple at the same time, so you need a place to place it somewhere. So that was very popular technique when they applied too much of the eyeshadow on the outer corners of the eyes, and that's it. You know, they placed, of course, a lot here on the top, but then on the bottom, they just use the outer corners. And for many people, it just looks so droopy and very unproportionate. So the face just looks like that. So that creates that very tired effect almost on any face. I have this video about how to place eyeshadow under the eyes. So it should be like a boat shape. If you really want to create that nice and very balanced eye look and still apply some eyeshadow on the bottom. But yeah, just keep an eye on that, because for some women that might work if their eyes are upturned on the sides. But if the eyes are downturned, especially, that's gonna be a no-no. Number 11, what can make you look really tired is too thin brows. And this is because in the morning we are swollen. Making your brows very thin, it creates a lot of empty skin around your eyes, and when it's too thin, then it looks like you're so puffy and so swollen, so your brows are shrinked and look super thin. You don't just have hair here. Also, less hair you have on your face, it can make you look slightly sick sometimes. So that is another point. Make your brows thicker. Now, super thick brows, it might not be also ideal for everyone, but it's not giving you that tiredness effect. It gives you something different. It gives you a heavy face effect, but it's a different subject. Today we're only talking about the tiredness of the face. Number 12, too oversized everything will look great on too tight everything. That means that there are women, again, I'm not talking about overweight or underweight, and I'm not talking about age. It can be in any age, it's just the structure of the body. Some women have just tight and pretty strong body with not much flesh covering the bones. You basically can see the bones, can see the frame, bone structure, and everything looks kind of tight. Sometimes it can look too angular if you're just doing some manipulations with your outfits. I have the whole body type series about that, so you can watch that. But if the woman is pretty elongated and have very tight everything else, then probably something oversized can look more or less okay on that. But then if the woman has some softness, soft flesh, if your body lines are very soft and rounded, then this oversized everything is gonna make you look like you're wrapped in a blanket, and it can make you look pretty stocky and really tired, believe it or not, because that's not enough tightness in the clothes that would outline your body slightly a bit more. So if something that you're wearing is outlining your body a little bit more and making it slightly more structured looking, that can make you look slightly stronger and more awake, kind of just give the appearance. Number 13 is lowered shoulder line on shirts, on tops, on t-shirts. You know, for some bodies, again, that can look pretty nice. Something oversized, something slouchy slightly, that can relaxed fit, that might look pretty cool. If the body is, again, pretty tight and sharp sometimes, but on some bodies, that can look very tiring, but not directly, but more like adding to that, adding to the whole overall appearance. So if you're wearing something like that, so you gotta try a little bit more to make yourself look more awake. Number 14 is about hair. It's soft highlights for the hair, especially on women with very bright and contrasted coloration, with very bright eyes, bright whites, and very contrasted dark iris. And for women also with very sharp coloration, that can make them look very tired actually. Those very subtle highlights, that slightly, I don't know, like a couple of tones lighter than the hair, as if it was slightly burned out on the sun, especially if the hair is dark here and just slightly lighter here. It can really wash out the oval of the face, the outline of the face, the eyes. It really can wash out that. So just check that out for yourself. And the last one, number 15, is brassy yellowish hair color. Normally, some women who have dark hair, they wanna become blondes, but they don't risk to go platinum right away because it can damage their hair too much. So they just do it a little bit, and then when they do it a little bit, then their hair is very yellow and brassy. They call it honey tone, which actually can look pretty nice and gentle, but then on some women with, like, again, brighter coloration and maybe slightly more strong facial characteristics, that can look very tiring because the lightness of the hair matches their skin, especially if the skin is mid colors, you know, for women with middle colors, or with olive skin, with light olive skin and with medium olive skin tones. I think, first of all, that yellow and brassy tone can make the skin of their face slightly muddy, slightly dull, and even dirty sometimes. So that is what is happening. And for that purpose, I recommend you to watch this video. Would you look good with blonde hair? I'm talking about everything and everyone possible, I hope. I was trying to include everyone and explain. I'm talking about olive skin tones and any kinds of things and how it interacts with your face and with your coloration and your facial features and things like that. So yeah, that is what's happening sometimes. So if you have that problem, maybe you check one of those, and maybe if you correct that, things will just go right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Subscribe on my Pinterest for 13 boards as an inspiration for the body types. Also, you can subscribe on my Instagram. All the links I'm gonna leave down below. Also, you can become my sponsor or subscribe on my Patreon for some exclusive videos, some early access to these videos, and just if you want to support me and my channel. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.